As a bear who's quite cozy in their cave, it is only natural that I've developed a fondness for Megami Tensei. We bears don't always sleep during hibernation, and I can't speak for others out there, but I like to spend that time awake playing games. It just so happens that this series of JRPGs offer loads of content and very difficult gameplay that can satisfy me for a winter indoors. Not to mention all the mythological references which remind me of long ago when bears were worshipped with other animals. Ah, good times. But I digress. The newest entry, Shin Megami Tensei V, has been out for a couple months for the Nintendo Switch. I think it was worth the infamous long wait, testifying with solid combat mechanics and beautiful open worlds to explore. However, I've noticed in the public and internal Megaton community's reception that the game's story, themes, and characters are quite lacking compared to the earlier entries. And there are some valid points about this that are being made, heck, I even agree with a lot of them. Yeah, that's right, I'm looking at you, Miyazu. However, I do think it's important to talk about what the game got right in this department. The game did get a lot right, but I want to focus on something more specific. Something that I haven't seen many people talk or bring up when discussing the theme and narrative. This being the relationship between Bells and the central theme of the game, creation, and the bridge between man and creator. You may be wondering why this even matters. This is such a minute detail. This matters because, in short, it shows that the game has great audio conveyance. This basically means that SMT5's sound design and audio blends well with the many facets of the game. In a good game, what you are showing and telling must also be heard, and this is a huge plus if you do it correctly. Therefore, I feel that this has merit to be talked about in the conversation of SMT5. Before I continue, I do want to mention we're going to bring up spoilers today about SMT5. If you haven't played it yet or you're considering to play it, I highly recommend it. Just make sure to come back here when you're done playing. First, let's give some cultural context. In the modern zeitgeist, bells have been associated with religious activity. Most commonly in pop culture, this is framed in the lens of the Judeo-Christian perspective with church bells. In some of the more popular denominations of Christianity, bells serve as a marker for religious congregations, such as Mass. This dates as far back as the 400s AD, where bells were used to signify God's belonging in the lives of each citizen. This presence of bells even has merit in the Bible, where the sound of bells would be a marker of God's blessing and news to the world. Essentially, this was a tiding of holiness. And this isn't exclusive to the Western world either. Plenty of Eastern religions and beliefs had connection with bells and the divine. One such religion is Buddhism. Similar to the summoning in Christian practice, banchos are used to summon monks to worship. Another religion that uses bells like this is Hinduism, where bells are used to ward off evil spirits and demons and let the divine know of the arrival to the temple's sanctum. In some ways, it is also believed to keep the worshipper in focus during prayer. In Shinto, Suzu are also believed to ward off evil spirits as well. However, they also invite kami to enrich the lives of those worshipping in that moment. Now, this is only a small sample size, but you've probably noticed some similarities between each of these practices. Bells, across the board, are signifying a religious bridge between the mortal and divine. There's a connection and bond. Now, this is all well and good and a decent lesson in theology, but what does this have to do with SMT5? I mean, it's in the video, so you could probably guess that this has to do a lot with SMT5. Regardless, throughout the game, the musical cues in certain key moments of divine importance are signified using bells. Even in smaller moments like when the protagonist is leveling up, bells can be heard ringing in the background. As the Nahobino is getting stronger, growing ever so close to the divine potential of the throne of creation, the music cues this as a religious moment of sorts. The human you started the game out as is melting closer and closer to that of Aogami or Susanoo. The bridging between man and creator is getting ever closer as the player is leveling up. This all culminates in the ending theme as the credits roll, where the Nahobino has finally ascended and walks alone in the world they chose. The ritual is complete and the minds have become one. The song's end contains a beautiful arrangement of bells, signifying a holy event has taken place. The birth of a new world, the replacement of the old, and the bridge completing. While we don't know for certain, I have a sneaking suspicion that this audio framing was intentional on Atlus's part. I mean, they put it in the marketing of the game. The inclusion of bells in this way in SMT5 was a deliberate choice to mold the game's theme of ascension with the music. Not every game can do that successfully, and as I stated before, it's quite the important task in this bear's opinion. Video games don't only need to balance their components, but have them work together to create a cohesive vision. SMT5 has that vision, albeit with some bumps in the road. Yeah, I'm still watching you, Miyazu.
Always watching.
I encourage you to give this game a shot and let the bells ring on with the Nahobino's victory. Oh yeah, and before I go, I wanted to make an announcement. At the beginning of this video, I expressed my love for the Shin Megami Tensei franchise. Well, I kinda want to express it more. In fact, I kinda want to dedicate the entire month of May to the series. So, here's what's gonna happen. All throughout May, there's gonna be a Bear Bites mini relating to an SMT game. Sadly, there won't be a proper Bear Bites episode this month, but we're going to end the month on a larger video about a particular 25th anniversary happening within the franchise. I'm sure you can probably guess which series this is. It starts with a P. I am very excited to welcome you all to Shin Megami Tensei. Thank you guys as always for watching the video. If you liked the video and you want to see more, consider giving it a like. Regardless, comment your thoughts below, and if you haven't already, why not consider subscribing? But until next time, John A.